Dating a younger man after 60? Is it the secret to happiness? Or a painful mistake? That's the question so many women are secretly asking themselves. And you're not alone. One of the wonderful women in our community, Gail, shared how she had met a much younger man and felt both thrilled and scared. She loved the idea of being with him, but she also worried about whether her body could keep up with his strength and energy. Can you feel that tug of war she's describing? On one side, excitement. On the other, fear. It's something countless women over 60 experience when attraction sparks with someone younger. And that's exactly why this video matters, because what I'm about to share may completely change the way you see yourself in these situations. You'll discover the hidden traps that quietly push younger men away, the surprising truths that make them want to stay, and the final secret that has given women in their 60s the spark they thought was gone forever. So if you've ever wondered whether dating a younger man is a dream worth pursuing or a disaster waiting to happen, stay with me until the end. Because the answer isn't what you've been told, and it might surprise you. Now let's start with the first trap that makes attraction fade almost instantly. I call it mothering mode. It happens the moment a woman starts giving advice he didn't ask for, protecting him from challenges he's perfectly capable of facing, or quietly taking charge of his choices. She doesn't mean to, but the energy shifts. He no longer feels like her partner, he feels like her son. And here's the truth, a younger man who is drawn to a mature woman isn't looking for another parent. He already has a mother. What he wants is an equal, a partner who makes him feel alive, respected, and truly seen. So if you've ever had that spark suddenly fade and thought, was it just because of my age? The answer is no. It's usually this subtle shift that flips the energy. The good news, once you can see it, you can stop it. And when you do, you open the door to the kind of connection you've been hoping for. And speaking of connection, what if I told you that age itself isn't the problem at all? In fact, it can actually become one of your greatest advantages if you know how to own it. That's exactly what we'll explore in the next part. Now let's clear up one of the biggest fears women share with me. The fear that the number on your birth certificate is the reason things don't work out with a younger man. So many women tell me, Leah, as soon as my age comes up, the spark disappears. And it's heartbreaking, because it makes you believe that you're disqualified before you even have a chance. But here's the truth, it isn't the number that turns him away, it's the way you react to it. Think about it. When a younger man asks your age and you dodge the question, laugh nervously, or make a self-deprecating joke, what message are you really sending? You're showing him that your age is something to be ashamed of, that it's a weakness, that you're insecure about it. And insecurity at any age is what truly pushes someone away. On the other hand, when you answer naturally and confidently, without apology, something incredible happens. Instead of focusing on the number, he focuses on you. Your presence, your truth, the way you carry yourself. One woman in this community shared that when a younger man asked her age, she simply smiled and said, "I'm 62, and every year has taught me something valuable." That calm self-assurance changed everything. He wasn't distracted by the number, he was drawn to her confidence, and that's the point. It's not your age, it's your energy. A younger man isn't looking for someone who hides or apologizes for who she is. He's looking for someone who knows herself, owns her story, and stands proudly in it. Now, confidence is powerful, but it's not the only ingredient, because even if you own your age, you can still unintentionally kill the spark if your energy feels too heavy, too serious, or too controlled. That's why in the next part, I'm going to share something surprising, how playfulness, not perfection, is often what keeps a younger man completely captivated. When women in their 60s first step into a connection with a younger man, many feel they have to prove their maturity. They sit up straighter, choose their words carefully, and present themselves as responsible and composed. And yes, your wisdom and steadiness are part of your beauty, but if the whole date feels like a business meeting, attraction fizzles fast. What younger men often crave is not more seriousness, but more lightness, laughter, a spark of spontaneity. A woman who can enjoy the moment without planning the whole outcome. I remember one woman in this community telling us how she kept trying to impress a younger man with her thoughtful opinions, her career achievements, and her life experience. He respected her, but after a few dates she said it felt flat. There was no play, no spark. She realized she had been showing her resume instead of her personality. Now think about the times in your life when you felt most alive. Was it when you were carefully proving yourself? Or was it when you were laughing, teasing, maybe even being a little silly? That energy of playfulness is magnetic, especially when it's paired with the depth only you can bring. And here's the best part. Playfulness doesn't mean acting like a teenager. It can be as simple as sharing a cheeky joke, suggesting a small adventure like trying a new cafe together, or dancing barefoot in your kitchen. It's about letting him see the side of you that still feels light, spontaneous, and free. Because when a younger man feels that you can bring both steadiness and joy, he doesn't feel like he's with someone older. He feels like he's with someone vibrant, and that's what keeps him coming back. But here's the danger. Even when you do bring playfulness, there's one mistake that can smother attraction before it has a chance to grow. And it's something many women don't even realize they're doing. That's exactly what I'll share in the next part. Now let's talk about a trap that so many women fall into without even noticing: overgiving. It usually starts from a good place. You're kind, thoughtful, and you want him to feel cared for. So you answer every text right away. You cancel your own plans to fit into his, and you go out of your way to show him how much you're interested. On the surface, it looks like generosity, but to him it feels like neediness. And here's why that's a problem. Attraction doesn't thrive on need. It thrives on balance, on two people choosing each other, not clinging to each other. One of my patients a few years ago told me she realized she was rearranging her whole week every time a younger man called. She thought she was being loving, but over time he stopped chasing, stopped putting in effort. Why? Because when she gave up her own rhythm, there was nothing for him to lean into. He felt like he already had all of her, without needing to earn her presence. That's why I teach what I call the balanced rhythm rule. Keep your own pace, your own interests, your own plans. Let him see that while you enjoy being with him, you also enjoy your life without him. This doesn't mean playing hard to get. It means being whole. When a man feels that you're choosing to be with him, not because you need to, but because you want to, that's when he feels desire. That's when he feels lucky. So if you've ever caught yourself always saying yes, always being available, always giving more than you receive, pause for a moment, step back into your own rhythm, because that balance is what turns attention into attraction. And once you create that balance, something magical opens up, the chance to show him the part of you that is most irresistible, and it has nothing to do with competing with younger women. That's exactly what I'll share with you in the next part. By now you've seen that attraction isn't about proving yourself, fixing him, or giving until there's nothing left. What actually draws a younger man closer is something far simpler and far more powerful. It's your authentic femininity. Now let me be clear. Authentic femininity does not mean trying to dress like a 25-year-old or pretending to be younger than you are. In fact, that often backfires. A younger man doesn't choose a mature woman because she can pass for his age. He chooses her because she brings something entirely different. What captivates him is your softness, your warmth, and your ability to be fully present. It's the way you can lean into touch, into closeness, into intimacy, without turning it into a lesson or a responsibility. It's the way you let yourself be playful, sensual, and open to the moment, without apology and without trying to compete with youth. Imagine this: a woman is out to dinner with a younger man. She could spend the whole evening proving how accomplished she is, or worrying whether her wrinkles show, or she could let herself enjoy the food, laugh at his jokes, and touch his hand across the table. Which version of her do you think he'll remember when he goes home that night? It's not about being flawless, it's about being real. Younger men often live in a world of surface-level connections, so when they meet a woman who is confident enough to be genuine, who enjoys her body, who doesn't hide her experience, who knows how to be light as well as deep, that's magnetic. And here's the beauty: this isn't something a younger woman can copy, because what makes you irresistible isn't youth, it's the richness that only comes with years of living. But to see just how powerful that richness can be, we need to look at the one thing you actually have over younger women. It's your hidden advantage, and when you embrace it, everything changes. That's exactly what we'll explore in the next part. Here's something I want you to hold on to. You are not in competition with younger women. You don't need to outdress them, out-text them, or outperform them, because the truth is, you already have an advantage they simply cannot replicate. Think about what your life has given you: decades of experiences, challenges faced, lessons learned, and wisdom gained. That perspective allows you to see the bigger picture. Younger women may have energy and freshness, but many are still finding themselves, still searching for clarity. You already know who you are. That steadiness is magnetic. And let's talk about freedom. By the time a woman reaches her 60s, she's often no longer driven by the need to impress or prove herself. She's not waiting for approval. That freedom to enjoy herself without needing to be perfect is intoxicating to a younger man who may still be caught up in proving his own worth in the world. You also offer emotional depth. You've lived, loved, lost, and rebuilt. That doesn't make you older. It makes you layered. And many younger men are drawn to that depth because it gives them a kind of connection they don't easily find with women their own age. So instead of worrying about what you don't have, focus on what you do have: your calm confidence, your steadiness, your perspective, your ability to inspire simply by being fully yourself. Because here's the irony: the very thing you think disqualifies you, your age, is the thing that sets you apart. And when you embrace that difference, you become unforgettable. But there's still one more piece to this puzzle. Because even with all these strengths, many women slip back into old habits that sabotage the spark. That's why in the final part, I'll share the one simple reset question that changes everything in an instant. Now, before we get to the final secret, we need to pause and look at the root of all these mistakes. Because no matter how playful, confident, or feminine you are, if you carry the wrong belief about yourself, it will quietly sabotage everything. And here's the belief I see most often: my age is a disadvantage. It's the thought that whispers, "I'm too old for him. He'll eventually want someone younger. I have to prove I'm still desirable." And when you believe that, it shows up in your behavior. You over-explain, you overgive, you slip into mothering, you compete with younger women who aren't even in the room. But here's the truth: your age is not a disadvantage, it's a difference. And differences can be magnetic when you embrace them. Think about it. Younger women can offer freshness, but you offer perspective. They may bring energy, but you bring depth. They might still be finding themselves, while you already know who you are. Those qualities don't push a younger man away. They are often the very reason he's drawn to you. So the shift begins when you stop treating your age as something to hide or fix, and instead see it as part of your power. When you do, your energy changes. You stop seeking approval. You stop proving. You start simply being. And that authenticity is what makes you unforgettable. But how do you put this into practice, especially in the heat of the moment, when old habits creep back in? That's where the final secret comes in: a simple reset that can transform the way you show up instantly. Let's dive into that now. We've talked about the traps that push younger men away and the truths that draw them closer. But there's one last piece that ties everything together. I call it the equal partner reset. Here's how it works. Anytime you notice yourself slipping, whether that's giving too much advice, over-explaining, apologizing for your age, or proving your worth, pause and ask yourself one simple question: am I showing up as his equal or as his caretaker? That one moment of awareness can change the entire dynamic, because the second you shift back into equality, you invite him to meet you as a partner, not a project. Remember this: a younger man who is drawn to you isn't searching for another mother, a mentor, or a life coach. He wants a partner he can admire, laugh with, and feel alive around. And when you stand in your equality, that's exactly what you become. I've seen this reset transform connections. A woman who once felt she had to prove herself now simply smiles and owns her age. Another who used to cancel her plans now keeps her rhythm, and he leans in more. These changes aren't dramatic, but they shift the energy from insecurity to attraction. And here's the beauty: the equal partner reset doesn't just work in dating, it can change the way you feel in every relationship. It's about carrying yourself as a whole, vibrant woman who doesn't need to compete or overgive, but simply shares who she is. So if you take one thing from this video, let it be this: the secret to dating a younger man after 60 isn't about chasing youth. It's about standing tall in your wisdom, your presence, and your equality. That's what makes the difference between a fling that fades and a love story that lasts. And now I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever felt that tug-of-war Gail described between the thrill of attraction and the fear of being too old? Share your story in the comments below. Your words may be exactly what another woman needs to hear today. And if this resonated with you, don't forget to subscribe and join us here at the Female Health Podcast, where we celebrate intimacy, vitality, and love at every age.